According to my research, there are significant issues with our current understanding of matter, energy, space, time, and gravity. First, we will discuss the theory of relativity. Einstein's theory of relativity is based on two central concepts. First, there is no space-filling substance called ether, and second, the speed of light is a universal constant. However, my investigations suggest that both of these concepts are incorrect. In reality, a space-filling substance called ether does exist, and the speed of light depends on its density. Near massive bodies like planets and stars, the gravitational force creates a dense region of ether. When light passes through such a region, it is refracted and bent. The bending of starlight and gravitational lensing effects are caused by the passage of light through regions of high optical density created by massive bodies. A high-density ether region restricts the vibration of particles, causing them to emit low-frequency photons with longer wavelengths when excited. This explains the gravitational time dilation effect. Every mass defect in the universe is converted into ether, and the release of energy in a nuclear reaction is due to the conversion of the mass defect into ether. This conversion imparts an enormous amount of kinetic energy to the products of the nuclear reaction, generating a large amount of heat as they collide with surrounding matter. Ether is continuously being created throughout the universe, suggesting that space is filled with ether. Every active star, supernova, colliding neutron star, merging black hole, and other events in the universe that create mass defects release ether into space on a large scale. If space is filled with ether, then the space inside an atom must also be filled with ether. Second, the structure of the atom. Based on my studies, the strong force of the nucleus creates a dense region of ether around it, which gives an atom its volume. The electron configuration of an atom is determined by the attraction of the nucleus, the buoyant force of the dense ether, and the repulsion between electrons. The number of electrons in an atom corresponds to the number of protons in its nucleus. Furthermore, the mass of the nucleus determines the amount of dense ether surrounding it. We can conceptualize that electrons in an atom float within the dense ether surrounding the nucleus. The density of the ether is highest near the nucleus and decreases with distance. Due to the unique properties of ether and the decreasing density, each region with a different density becomes like a shell and has a resonant frequency. An atom contains an enormous number of resonance columns around its nucleus, with their frequency higher near the nucleus and decreasing with distance. When a resonant column is excited and an electron is present within it, the electron emits a photon with the resonant frequency of that column. This is the basic model of an atom. Rutherford's gold foil experiment proved that an atom possesses a central, positively charged nucleus containing most of its mass and entire positive charge. However, there is no evidence supporting the notion of consistent electron motion around the nucleus. In fact, the idea of electrons being in a perpetual state of motion is merely a mental construct developed by Rutherford and Bohr. Although matter-wave experiments involving artificially accelerated electrons demonstrated the wave nature of moving electrons, this result has no bearing on the actual structure of an atom since there is no evidence supporting this type of motion for atomic electrons. The structure of the universe can be understood by recognizing that the nucleus of an atom is situated inside an ether bubble. Similarly, moons, planets, stars, and even the galactic center are all enclosed within their own bubbles. The bubbles of smaller bodies are situated inside the bubbles of larger bodies, creating a hierarchy of bubbles within bubbles. By understanding this basic principle, we can gain a better understanding of the overall structure of the universe. Third, what is light? The second of Maxwell's equations, also known as Gauss's law for magnetism, states that magnetic field lines always form closed loops and that there are no magnetic monopoles. This can be expressed mathematically as nabla b = 0. However, based on my investigations, I have concluded that the vibrating magnetic field created by a radio transmitter antenna does not follow Gauss's law for magnetism. A radio wave oscillator circuit generates a closed loop of vibrating magnetic field lines with a limited range. But when the oscillating electrical current in the circuit is fed to an antenna, it produces open-looped vibrating magnetic fields that can travel over long distances as radio waves. These waves can be detected by a tuned receiver. Therefore, according to my studies, the antenna of a radio transmitter acts as a magnetic monopole. In fact, radio waves, and light, are simply vibrating magnetic lines. Fourth, what is gravity? According to the theory of general relativity, gravity is the result of the curvature of spacetime caused by the presence of mass and energy. This means that objects with mass or energy will cause a distortion in the fabric of spacetime, which will cause other objects to move towards them. Einstein developed this idea based on the fact that gravity causes light to bend. However, as we have seen before, the effects of starlight bending and gravitational lensing are simply the result of the refraction of light by the dense ether region that surrounds massive bodies. Based on my studies, it can be concluded that gravity is indeed an attractive force, as Sir Isaac Newton originally proposed. Through my research, I have come to the conclusion that the propagation of gravity between bodies is enabled by a smaller version of the space-filling ether. Interestingly, the speed of gravity is significantly greater than the speed of light. I am confident that by incorporating the space-filling ether into the picture, we can unify all fundamental forces of nature. Furthermore, this new approach can help us gain a better understanding of quantum entanglement. For more information, please refer to my book. Please visit Amazon.com/author/Adam.